Welcome to the Scalable Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we discuss the most scalable strategies, tools, and approaches to successfully invest in real estate. Learn how to make the most impact of your time, automate your real estate investing business, find off-market deals with minimum time invested, and leverage your capital to create as many income streams as possible so that you can achieve true financial independence. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Mason Clement. Hi, Scalable investors. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Scalable Real Estate Investing. I'm your host, Mason Clement, and today we have this Charles Hernandez, who you might know as Uncle Charles. His reputation precedes him, definitely a legend in the space, and been around at least 10 years. You started HBHS, right? So
Sure.
I think that having you on the show is going to be really valuable. I know that you're doing some of the most creative stuff, and it's just blowing people's minds. So without stealing your thunder, let's just jump into things. What's going on?
Man, thank you for having me. It's a real honor, pleasure. I always I always feel really good when someone offers me a spot to share a little bit about what we do. And again, I want to thank you, and I hope everyone listening will receive some massive value. I'm here to drop value, and whatever questions you have, I'll do my best to get right to the point.
All right, perfect. So what I'd like to do with most guests is just jump into their background and their whole real estate journey and what brought them to today. So why don't we just start with that?
Well, Cliff Notes, guys, and this is why I'm a little hard on some of my people, is this, I come from the darkest places you can think of. Growing up, made a lot of mistakes along the way. I found, I graduated from the University of Texas here in San Antonio with a business degree, and that was probably my biggest accomplishment that I thought I would never reach, and I started that late in life, and then I got into the mortgage business early 2000s. I ended up taking over some mortgage shops and broker shops. I meant mortgage banking and mortgage broker shops. Got really good at loans. Got really good at doing a lot of creative stuff. Back then, it was necessary to understand how to do creative deals with these mortgage banks and deals we're brokering. After the crash, I can't, I'll just say that I got hurt really bad. I pretty much lost everything I had gained. And I facilitated a lot of private transactions between a lot of private investors, hard money lenders and stuff. And I had to get real creative on how to put deals together, anything from dirt deals to single family to multifamily, just putting money together, man. And then one day I just said, hey, it's time to do this for myself. And I launched HBHS, and January 2011, I had $200 in my pocket. Before the crash, I had over 3 million. So I was starting out new, guys. So don't take a hit to the face and call it quits, man. You can bounce back.
All right. That's definitely inspirational. So I know a lot of people are trying to leave the 9-to-5. What was that transition like? Like when you decided, and were you running both your business while working for their business, and how'd that work?
Well, I'll say this, I've worked a 9-to-5, in when I was younger, but I've never really been a 9-to-5 guy, So what I say to everyone is this, I can talk about my experience, but I'll just share a little thing that I tell everybody. If you're in the 9-to-5 and you want to get into the business of real estate or NFTs, whatever it is you want to do that doesn't make you money by exchanging time, you have to understand that not only do you have to believe, you have to seek, you have to push, you have to fight for what you're trying to make, because it ain't going to come next Friday or next Monday. Sometimes it's not going to come for 30 days or 60 days. And if you're not comfortable with that, you're going to have a hard time. So you have to understand that what you're working towards will happen if you keep pushing. So, guys, I started HBHS. We do very well now. When we first started, sometimes we didn't get paid for 90 days, 4 months, and because you're putting money into the business, you're just making enough money to survive and nothing else. So 9-to-5 guys, if you are the 9-to-5 guy, just know you have the capabilities to push forward, but you have to believe in yourself and you have to keep going.
Okay. Cool. So y'all have over like 20 people now on your team, right?
At any given time, my team has been huge. Before we scaled it down from 15 to 17, I mean, any given time, and I had a way more office than I do now. I had anywhere from 60, 65 people in and out of my office with a core usually of about, 9 or 8. So my core team right now, it's about 8 guys, 7, 8 guys that have just been together for many, many years. I have 3 other guys that have been with us for a long time. I want to say they're core also, but they're not here every day. But they're involved in a lot of transactions that we do. And then, we've had a lot of guys that come and go, and that's just the nature of the beast. Not everybody's going to make it in this business. You can't expect everyone to make it, but while they're here, we will give everything that we say we do to them, and we expect everything from them so they can be better at what they do.
Okay. So I guess first, before hiring someone, what do you feel like you needed to have in place, or what should someone like me have in place before hiring that first person?
So it depends on what we're talking about. If I was going to do all this again by myself, and I was trying to figure out how to source leads, call leads, SMS leads, or whatever marketing strategy I was going to do, I had to get contracts, and then I had to maybe help folks fix title, dispose deals. If I was going to do all that myself, I probably want to JV with someone that was doing the same, or at a little higher level than I was, so that I could bounce off of them. We could make money together. Now, as I scaled, I'd probably want to delegate some of those duties to someone, maybe hire a VA to do the cold calling, and I just take the inbound calls. Work more closely with the title company. I'd eventually hire TC to take all that weight off of me if I was a one-man or two-man show. And a company like the one we run, I don't do all the hiring anymore. I had to let go of those duties to our operations manager, and for a long time I had a hard time with that. Because you're used to being in control. But now, people who are brought into HBHS, they go through a series of interviews. Eventually, that gets to Michael and myself, my partner, and we actually don't get the last say. So Frank usually hires everybody, and it's based on certain things. Where are you at now in life, and what are your goals? So what we don't want is to bring in people into HBHS that want to use us for knowledge and just be here to take. We want people who want to contribute, because our office is run a little bit different than others. For example, yes, we have a lot of people here that come and go, that are in here and out of here, but nobody works for us. Everyone here works with us, not for us. There's no employees here. So everyone here has a way to make money working with us, not for us. The other thing we look for is this. If we see that someone is going through a bad time, or barely making it, we will offer assistance to help them elevate themselves. But it's hard to bring someone into this type of system and then have them falter in whatever they're doing. Bills still got to get paid, guys. We have a few guys that are part-time, and if they want to work part-time, they're willing to do the things that we need them to do so they can be successful, then we're okay with it. If they can't balance that out, then you can't set them up for failure. You can't have them in here, doing this type of work and at the same time starving at home.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you do a combination of some base salary and commission?
Actually, everyone here at HBHS, man, is hunt to kill, man. We provide everything that you need. We provide knowledge, money, systems, software, data, everything you need to be successful. All you have to bring is your hustle, your open mind, and your determination. If you can bring those 3 things, then we're going to offer you the rest. What I can't do is give you the bag. I had to work for it. Everybody has to work for it. What you will gain here is knowledge. Everybody who has come to the HBHS that I know of, that I still talk to, has either gone on and done something else, because it's not for everybody. But a lot of them have gone on to do well on their own. While they were here, we had an exchange of value. People work with us, not for us. We have an exchange of value. So you're not here to work for me. You're here to work with me. So everyone that's out here, what we consider entrepreneurs. The difference is we're providing a lot of stuff to them that allows them to elevate. And some stay. Some, I mean, like I said, I have a core of of 7 to 8 guys that are constantly here. We've all made money together, and so we don't. Everyone here is an entrepreneur, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Definitely a good way to look at it. So pivoting a little bit, I know y'all had recently started a mentorship coaching program. Could you go into that a little bit and like what kind of strategies y'all teach there?
Yeah, so thank you for asking. So we've actually mentored for a long time. We just never really promoted it. The reason we never promoted it is because fact of the matter is, I came up in the days, I've been around for a while, where only certain people had the information, and there was a huge cost to getting involved with individuals to learn or barely learn information that they were using to do this business. So here, what we did is we decided, hey, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that until we have a track record, until we have a scope of work, until we have a timeline of proven strategies that we can say, hey, we know how to do this. We've done, over 100 of these deals. We've done over 1,000 of these deals. We've done over 350 subject twos. We can talk on this stuff. We own almost 100 of these things. So we never wanted to be gurus. We didn't want to be considered the guru. We wanted to be able to say, hey, we have a scope of work. We've been around. Look us up. You can find us on social media. Hey, we've been around for a while and we can talk on this stuff. And so we finally formally are in the works of launching formally our mentorship, which consists of this. Michael primarily coaches on subject to. We have facilitated over 350 subject twos. So we don't know them all because we help people do them, but he has a coaching program for that. And I want to say all the people that have gone through that have done very well. We also have a video, a 9-hour video presentation. It's actually 17 hours, condensed to 9 hours, that really breaks everything down when it comes to sub two. Now, what I mentor on is credit finance. I'm really good at putting deals together and deal structure. I show people how to take on properties that you can't get a deed to, you can't get title on, and I show them how to make money on those deals. I do also go over subject to and all the extra strategies, and I'm real big on reverse wholesale. I also cover wholesaling and wholesaling and fix and flipping. The mentorship is actually the 60-day program. It actually with a 30-day extension. It's actually every Saturday for 3 to 4 hours, and there's no BS. It's straight content. And everyone has gone through it, I can say, has done very well. I recently finished up with a guy in Tampa. He's a good friend of mine now. He started in July. He has 14 properties under his belt that are his, using these strategies. And before that, he was just wholesaling. So I feel very confident in what we do. We also recently started a private community called Alliance. That's where Michael and I go in there once a week. We have a lot of stuff in there already. We go in there once a week, and we just drop real advanced strategies or advanced tactics on stuff that people can do to get to do deals. For example, we teach people how to get rid of child support. We teach people how to get rid of MERPs. We recently closed, as a matter of fact, yesterday on a property, and nobody here in San Antonio could do because they had 158,000 lien by Medicaid, and I got it removed. So how do you do that? Those are the type of things that you learn when you've been doing this stuff a long time.
Huh. Okay, that's really interesting. So, what would you consider your bread and butter is for HBHS? Is it sub two deals, or is it just typical wholesaling stuff?
So we don't consider ourselves a wholesaling company. We do wholesaling, but we don't consider ourselves a wholesaling company. We actually have two divisions here when it comes to wholesaling. What most people see when they come into our office is the wholesaling, because there's a boiler room and it takes up the most space. And we also, so that the boiler room, the people that work in there, we'll do wholesaling and wholesaling. And then we have an MLS team, because we also brokerage, and those agents do purely work on MLS. We wholesale MLS deals. But that's not what it does. Make us really good money. We do very well. But the bulk of our business comes from the building of our portfolio, which Michael facilitates many fix and flips that we do every 60 days. So we do that, but it comes from building our portfolio. So as we create nodes, we create subseconds, silent seconds. These are secondary liens on properties that we owner finance. We take on a lot of subject twos. We wrap them, we Airbnb them, or we rent them. We do a lot. We just took down, for example, a fourplex in Corpus Christi, where we did a creative finance deal. The property worth 200, we offered 225, and at 0% interest, with no down payment, with a 120 below amortized at 15 years. But what she saw was she was getting $25,000 more. That's creative financing. I won't go into all the details, but for us, it's great because we're cash flowing, and we know that in 10 years that thing will be pretty much paid off. So I would say all the creative finance deals and subject to flips that we do, it's a mixture of all of it put together. But
okay, got it. Yeah, it definitely seems like a sum of the parts of those various different strategies. Like, I know another one, I'm not sure how often you do it now, like the LLC Capture strategy is another one that you mentioned on a prior call. Did you go into like cliff note that one?
Yeah, so the LLC Capture, I've talked about it a little bit. I presented it once here in San Antonio at an event called Ground Zero. And we went into great detail of how we do it. Now, when Michael and I it was just he and I, the bulk of our business came from pure research on taxes. I'm big on taxes. And it came from us researching people that were getting foreclosed, properties that got foreclosed, or properties where homeowners got tax loans. That's real big here in Texas. So we looked at it from three different perspectives. Now, what we found in our research is a lot of LLCs were getting foreclosed, and so I'm real big into research. I research everything, and what we found that a lot of these LLCs were inactive with the state, and what people don't realize is when an LLC is inactive with the state, meaning that they haven't paid their taxes or reported to the comptroller, the state will inactivate your LLC, which makes it hard to do business because you can't contract. You're not supposed to do anything out of that business. You cannot legally sign a contract. So what we found is if we could find these owners, and we got really good at that, finding the owners of these LLCs, was communicating with them about their properties were fixed and loose. And I'll give you a quick cliff note. People always ask us, well, how do you buy these properties if they can't contract? You buy the LLC. Now there's a whole process to that. So you guys don't go buying LLCs if you don't know what you're doing. There's a whole process. You still got to get reinstated with the comptroller, and you still got to get reinstated with the Secretary of State. And there's a lot that goes into it, and you can miss the boat if you don't do it correctly. But we're really successful at doing that. We don't do a lot of it anymore because we have a lot of stuff that's going on here in the office, and those are diamonds in the rough, brother. I mean, if you're going to just spend your weeks and weeks on just trying to find LLCs that are inactive, you're probably going to be missing a lot of deals. But when they pop up, when I get my guys focused on taxes and they pop up, we go after it.
Okay. Another thing too is it seems like you have a knack for stopping foreclosures without an attorney. Could you touch on that a little bit?
Man, you've been really researching a lot of stuff that I say. Most people, you're the first ones that ever brought that up. Yeah. So, it costs money to stop foreclosures. Mike and I have stopped both tax and mortgage foreclosures on the morning of the foreclosure. For taxes, I'm not going to say it's not a nail biter. It is, but it's a lot easier to do than doing a mortgage stoppage without an attorney. So the process of doing that, guys, I'm going to give you a real quick cliff notes. It's the marrying of doing several things. Everyone knows that you can possibly get a lender to stop a foreclosure if you can get an agent on board and petition the lender to allow you to do a short sale. So we combine that with documenting the process to the lender. So for example, we have a brokerage here. So we will get one of our agents on board to get the homeowner into a listing agreement and list the property. We submit we get a contract going with the homeowner. We document that with the title company. We get the title company on their letterhead to acknowledge that there is a restated contract. And then of course, we drop a mercy letter and the Cliff Notes, guys. What we're doing is we're trying to document the whole process of a possible short sale agreement, if the bank will agree, and submit it to the lender. There's a little bit more that goes into it. There's a few other things that are maybe not, it's a little harder to explain and a little more lengthy to explain. But most lenders will stop the foreclosure because in their heart of hearts, guys, not that a bank has a heart, but what I'm saying is they don't want to foreclose on people. They don't want to take someone's property away if they can give you the opportunity to sell it. Now, once they stop the foreclosure, it usually gives you 30 to 45 days to make something happen. And if, for example, in our case, if we're trying to do a subto, for example, if we're trying to do a subto, and we've gotten really good at modifying the reinstatements, and we can modify the reinstatement and get into this property, take it down subto, we'll do that. If we end up facilitating the full-blown short sale, and we can take it down ourselves and or wholesale the short sale deal on a double close, we'll do that. The objective is we need a little bit of time. And if you ain't got money to pay for a TRO, then it's gonna be a little hard. Have I paid for TROs before? When we couldn't get it done the way we do it, I have. But the only time I'm going to do that is if I really, really want the property. So guys, if you want to clip note, if you want to get a lender to listen to you, what you have to do is you have to document the process. The bank needs to know if something is happening for them to say, okay, we're going to stop this thing. And most of the time that we've done it, I want to say with at least 95% success rate, they'll stop it. We just have one right now in Seguin, Texas. We're not even on the deal. We just told the guy what to do, and he got with the agent. They documented the whole process. He actually already had someone that wanted to do the deal. They got a contract together. The title company submitted their letter. They submitted a mercy letter, an explanation and a mercy letter to the bank, asking them to please stop the foreclosure. That he had an opportunity to sell the home, and they stopped the foreclosure. So,
okay. And for listeners who may not be familiar with the subto, is basically you're taking over that mortgage. You're acquiring the property subject to the existing mortgage on that property, right?
Yeah. So that's exactly right. I just did a long post on another Facebook's group a couple of days ago, talking about subject twos and wraps. So for me, a subject to is exactly what you said, and for me, a subject to is someone deeding over the property to yourself or to an LLC or to a trust that you control or own, and you paying the payments. In its most lay terms, that's what it is. Now, some people will argue, some attorneys will argue that you got to create some paper behind that. And meaning, for example, in a DOT state, they state that you should create a deed of trust, issue a note that mirrors whatever the balance is in the note, whatever the balance and the rate is, and the balance of the person you're taking the property from. But what I say this, I respect attorneys. I use a lot of different attorneys, and what I say this when it comes to the subto, and I just wanted to expand on this a little bit because I've been getting a little flack with this. What I say is this: my experiences, depending on what side of the table an attorney's on, will determine whether you're right or wrong, because the paper that we're creating is not that much different depending on what attorney you're using. My position is this: how many have you done? How many do you own? How many times have you gotten on the phone with a bank that's trying to call a note? How many times have you tried to stop a bankruptcy because somebody filed a bankruptcy either on the seller side or you wrapped it out to the buyer side? How many times have you settled an insurance issue because you were in a subto? You know, my position on this is this: there's no ground rules as how to do this. There's only a concept of how to get it done and the best way to get it done. For example, let me expand on this. There's attorneys on both sides and investors, big and small, on both sides that say LLC, put a subto into an LLC, put a subto into a trust. Like, I get it. There's arguments on both sides. We experiencing this all over the nation right now. There's arguments on both sides on everything. But what I always ask is, how many have you done? Because here's my experience, because I've done a lot of them. My experience is this: we put subject twos into LLCs when we're going to do a short-term transaction. We have to get a POA. What I don't want is to be have a subto in an LLC, and 10 years later, I'm trying to sell a thing, and the title company is telling me, well, we got to verify this POA, and you can't find the guy. Or let's just say, God forbid, the individual passes away, that POA is no good. Now, if we're going to go past 3 years, we put it into a trust, because at the end of the day, 10 or 15 years from now, the trust is still good. And so the trust is not going away. So if I want to talk to a lender as a trustee of that trust, I'm going to be able to do that. So when I say this, and you asked me a question about subto, and I'm just expanding on some stuff that sometimes people ask about. When I say this stuff, most people argue about the due on sale clause. Man, it doesn't make a difference whether you put it in LLC or trust. I'm like, hey, I'm not even arguing that point. It doesn't make a difference to me. The due on sale is there, whether you're putting it into your name, whether you put it into an LLC, whether you're putting it into a trust, whether you don't do nothing with it. The due on sale is there. My perspective as to why I do it into an LLC or whether I do it into a trust is completely different than focusing whether I want to protect myself when they're due on sale. It has to do with, hey, I don't want to be in that subto for 10 or 15 years. If I want to hold it that long and I can't find this guy, and the title company is telling me, hey, where's this guy? He needs to verify the POA. So that's my position on that. And so I'm glad you asked that question. I'd love to go into how we find them, how we do them and stuff. But this has to be this kind of a hot topic right now. So I want to expand on it as to why we do it the way we do it. And maybe others who are listening can also, think about it and maybe ask their attorneys what's the best way for them to do it.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a real issue to be mindful of, is not being able to track down folks. I mean, I just yesterday got a green light from my title company. I had to track down the only surviving daughter of these people that bought a property in 1962, and they're deceased. And then there's a break in the chain of title, and the person that had acquired it, that sold it to my seller in 1982, is also deceased. The wife's deceased. Everyone's dead. So it's like a huge pain. But the trust is makes a lot of sense. Just a quick little note on that. Is that just like a revocable trust? And you have like your LLC as a grantor? How's that structured?
Yeah, so they're irrevocable trusts, and yes, our LLCs. We have different LLCs that are. We have the owners deed their an affidavit of interest to our LLC. So that's how we do it. Not to us personally.
Okay. So I guess the trustor, the grantor, is going to be your seller. They're the ones that are actually like giving the property, putting it into the trust as the irrevocable.
Yeah. Well, what we do with that was, when it comes to the trustee, we also have either, now I've been short-term ones, I've been the trustee on them, but we also have them make our attorney the trustee on these trusts. So what we want to do is we want to take, we want to be able to control the entire deal. But you don't want to get it to a situation where you're 7 years down the line, 5 years down the line. Let's just say you're holding this thing for 10 years, and then you have someone coming back to you telling you, hey, I want this thing back. So, we're not going to allow them to make decisions on deals that we're taking responsibility for an extended period of time.
Okay. Well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense making it irrevocable. It's not theirs anymore. It's the trust.
Yeah.
Right? So they can't take it back. It's be at the discretion of the trustee.
Yes. So they're definitely not the trustees. It's either us or our attorney.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It makes a lot of sense. I know you have a hard stop coming up, so I think we've hit on most things. The last thing though, in terms of like building an Airbnb portfolio with none of your own money, would you say the best strategy to do that is sub-twos, or is there some other trick to that?
I mean, look, we have some Airbnbs, and I've always made it a policy, and I always tell my guys, if you haven't done something or if you haven't done it extensively, don't become the authority in it. So you've done a lot of them. So we've done some, but we're not the authorities on any Airbnbs. We talk about it, that a good way to create an Airbnb portfolio would be to go sub-2. It's not that hard to find individuals that are willing to sub-to the property to you, and then if the home is if you do your research and the home is in a good location, then of course Airbnb is a good option. The reason the Airbnb is a good option is you're going to of course make money. Plus, if you plan to hold that property for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, you're also capturing the appreciation, and then of course the pay whatever the balance is going down, so you're going to make great money if you decide to sell that property in the future. I would say sub-2 is a good way. I mean, look, you can only buy so many properties. Even the big guys, I won't mention names, but even the big guys, you see them on IG, you see them on Facebook, constantly raising money because their portfolios are getting bigger, the projects are getting bigger. You can only $1 million can only buy you, 4 $250 houses. So if you're going to go cash on every single deal, you're going to have a lot of money tied up and you're going to be making short money because you got $250,000 tied up in a property and you're only making, let's just say hypothetically $4,000 on an Airbnb. You're dealing with short money here. So it's better to, in my opinion, to take on these subject twos where you're not having to cash these properties out or get loans in your own name, because you can only get so many loans in your own name.
Okay. Yeah, that opens up another Pandora's box, and you got to get some commercial loans. And it's how do you get that LLC underwritten, especially if it doesn't have a long history or strong financials and all that stuff, right?
Exactly true. So subject to learning the concept of subject to, guys. I mean, I'll give you a little nugget if you want. If you give me a second. Right now, it's probably not the best time to do these type of subject twos, which is we're real big on going after zero equity subject to deals. So, for example, maybe it's because we live in San Antonio that we learned this. San Antonio is what we call Military City, USA. There's 5 bases here. There's military in and out of here, daily. And these people are getting transferred in for training, transferred out. A lot of people come here, they stay for 3 to 4 years, and they usually buy a house within a year. Most of these individuals are buying brand new homes. So they're buying a brand new home and they get PCS orders to ship out. What happens? 9 times out of 10, they're competing with the builder down the street. They can't sell because the realtors are telling them they got to increase the sales price to fit in all the fees, which now they're competing with the builder who's giving everything away, who's selling at the same price. So what happens? So when the market's, I don't want to say down, it's never really been down here in San Antonio. But when the market's not doing as hot as it is right now, these individuals are willing to give up these properties. They want to give you the keys. Let's go. And so these are substitutes that we love. And a lot of people will ask, well, Charles, you don't have no equity. Yeah, but if you know how to make money on these deals, you don't need equity, because if we, for example, if we rent that property or Airbnb it, the property is going to get paid down, and we're going to hold that paper for, let's just say 6, 7, 8, 10 years. And as the property appreciates, the balance is paid down, that's yours. But you're also making an ROI on it. Maybe not a huge ROI, but you're making money on it. Now, let's just say hypothetically that we decide to wrap it. And usually the times that we decide to wrap a property is when we need to pay a reinstatement. When somebody's behind, let's say hypothetically $20,000 all in, or meaning the closing fees, maybe a little bit of rehab, all in. Let's just say $20,000. And we're like, hey, we don't want to be over leveraged by $20,000 and rent this thing, and then maybe it gets destroyed or it gets messed up. In these 2 years we got to do it again. So we will wrap that property out, take $20,000 or 30, put our money back in our pocket, and we sell that property at a higher rate. So, for example, if the underlying lien is to say it's a 3% hypothetically, and we sell at a 9, then we're making the difference, those points. Plus, as our balance goes down faster than theirs, we build equity into the property. Now we lose the appreciation on the wrap, but we're still making money. So it just depends, guys. It depends what your exit strategy is. We're doing a home right now. It's a really good home. It's right next to SeaWorld and close to Lackland. So we're getting the best of both worlds. We're gonna Airbnb that property. Why? Because people come here to San Antonio to go to SeaWorld. It's about 5 minutes away. People come here every single week. There's a graduation at Lackland Air Force Base, which is the largest air force base in the world. Every single week, people come here to see their loved ones. So guess what? We already know that Airbnb is gonna be popping. So guys, you just gotta research what your best exit strategy is. And I'm gonna leave you with one more nugget, brother. And I say this a lot. I preach this a lot because I see so many people get in trouble about this. I get so many calls about this. I'm gonna give you another nugget. If you plan to wrap a property, you took it down subject to, and you plan to wrap it out. Let's just say hypothetically the owner was behind 15,000, and it's going to take another 15 to rehab. That's 30, and maybe they want 10. So now you're at 40. It's going to cost you maybe 2 to 3 to close. Maybe you got to hold it for a few months. Let's just say hypothetically you're into this thing 45 G's. That's not a deal. Okay, especially if you're going to rent it. You got a lot of money tied up. Now, let's think about this for a second. You have to pay attention to what the going rates are for owner finance deals in the area, what the going rates for the down payments are if you're going to wrap it. If the going rates are only 10 and you entered 45, you're going to be over leveraged 35. If the going rates are 20, you're going to be leveraged the difference. But if the going rates, for example, let's just say, for example, are 45, then you're going to be good. So you have to pay attention to those things. I see so many people get in trouble doing these deals. They take on these reinstatements, potential rehab. Owner wants money. You gotta hold it for a little bit, and then they say, like, "I'm trying to get my money out." They try to sell the property, owner finance on a wrap, and the down payments, the average down payment for that area is not there, and so now they're over leveraged. They get into problems. Maybe the guy starts paying the property. You still got to pay the underlying lien. Maybe they destroy the home. Now you still didn't get your money out the first time. Now you got to fix the house. You got to foreclose. Guys, you can get into a lot of problems. And so you have to know what you're doing from the beginning, how to set these deals up and how you're going to exit.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely huge. Drop the mic there. So you said right now it's like a really strong market to not necessarily go after zero equity sub-2 deals, but what would you recommend focusing on?
So right now, okay, this is what we're gearing up for. So I have not targeted mortgage foreclosures in a long time. We just had it. We got really good. We got really good at finding individuals who were not behind on their mortgage. And I don't care if we've taken on properties where somebody was in the home. They barely bought it. It was brand new, and they were in the home a month. I love those. If the home is brand new and I don't got to pay a reinstatement, man, call me up. Chances are we're going to do that deal. We're going to pay you a wholesale fee. I'm letting you guys know right now. Now, mortgage foreclosures, you can do really well with mortgage foreclosures. I'm going to give you guys a nugget. I'm going to give you another nugget, man, okay? And you only know this if you've done a lot of deals and you study a lot of data, because we all can see data, and it's just a bunch of information on an Excel sheet, right? Now, this is what I tell people. If you're going to target mortgage foreclosures, we know these properties are a little bit older. Let's just say 1995. Let's just say early 2000. Let's just say 1960 home, but it has a mortgage, right? Because somebody either purchased it in 2000 or 2005 or 2015. Here's the thing. When you're looking at your data, no matter what age the home is, okay, and they have a new loan on it. Let's just say 2020, 21, 2019, 18, 17. Okay, after about 5 years, the home starts getting it's gonna need a little love, right? But let's just say within the last 3, 4 years. And you can assume, guys, no matter how old that property is, if there's an FHA or a VA loan done on that property, you can assume that somebody rehabbed that property. And if somebody rehabbed that property, that means less money out of your pocket to fix that property. So now all you're dealing with is the reinstatement. If the reinstatement, let's just say it's 15 G's, then learn how to modify properties. Right now, FHA and VA have new programs on modifications. I just did a few pro bonos, right, for someone that we're trying to help because I wanted to see how the process worked. It took me 30 minutes on the phone to get them to get with the resolution department to help this individual get into a modification. It took 45 days to approve. They dropped his interest rate to a 2%. They put all his back payments to the end of the loan. Okay, and he's great. Now we're not taking away that property, but he's doing great. And I just wanted to see how the program worked. So if you learn how to modify properties for all these foreclosures that are sure to come in the next few months, learn how to modify properties. Now you're not dealing with the reinstatements. If you understand that you should focus on, if you're going to focus on mortgage foreclosures, remember we're most likely looking at homes that are older. But if you focus on the ones with the newer loans, primarily FHA or VA, then you can assume that somebody already rehabbed those properties, right? Because why else would they sell them FHA or VA? And if somebody already rehabbed them, that means less money out of your pocket. There it is, guys. Gave you a little nugget, a couple nuggets there.
All right, perfect. Yeah, this is definitely very helpful. So if someone wants to really dig deep and partner with you on the coaching program, what's the best way to learn about what you're doing and contact you?
Let me put this one up, brother. I don't know if if you give me access to show you our quick little flyer here.
Yeah, let me see here. Should be good.
Okay, so Alliance right here, that guy right there, the nice looking one is me with the little hat. The other guy, that's my partner, Michael. He's actually my son-in-law. But Alliance, guys, there's a link right here, HBHS link, Alliance. Alliance is a very private community, and some of the stuff you heard here right now on this awesome podcast is what we go deep, man. I want to call it a mini mastermind community. We talk about some serious, in-depth stuff. So when we go on there, there's no BSing, joking around. We just go straight deep dive into a lot of different subjects. For example, tonight we will be talking about padding. Now look, a lot of stuff that we talk about is stuff here at HBHS. Everybody has their own programs, and we're going to be going how we pad wholesale deals. And so it's a very simple process. It's very simple to overlook it, but it's something that we do here to make that extra 5 or 10 G's on deals. And sometimes that extra 5 or 10 G's is what really helps, especially for these guys that are doing deals here. Every dollar counts. So that's one of our models. Every dollar counts. And so that's the type of stuff that we teach in Alliance. And I welcome everybody to join in. It's not that expensive, guys. It's $97 a month. It's like $20 a week to go in there and really listen to some real serious stuff. And I believe we have a lot to offer. We've been doing this a long time.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I think that people really need to keep that in perspective. Like that 97 per month is just a drop in the bucket in terms of like the return you can make on that, just thousands of % return. So totally see the value there. I'll be sure to include that link in the show notes. But I really appreciate you jumping on. This has been really valuable and hope to have you on again soon. Brother, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I know you have we're building a relationship with the Hive, and man, I don't want this to be the last time we talk. If you ever have a question, I'm sure if I have a question for you, you'll definitely respond. Let's continue to build relationships together. I always believe that. I believe the more people that you get to know, the more people you get to help, the more people you embrace, the bigger you can get and the better you can get. Definitely makes sense. Better grow together.
Thank you, man.
Sure. All right, that's another episode of Scalable Real Estate Investing. Thank you for tuning in. Please be sure to leave a review and subscribe on whatever channel you're using to listen or watch these episodes. And also be sure to go to scalablerealestateinvesting.com, scroll to the bottom, and fill out the form to sign up for our email. And you could also reach me directly at mason@scalablerealestateinvesting.com. That's MASON at scalablerealestateinvesting.com. If you'd like to get in touch with me to either partner on deals or even be considered to do your own episode on this podcast. Thanks again, and have a great day.